Yo, what's going on? What's going on, people? I just started with dropping for a little while. It's been a long time. Been a bit hectic things, but nonetheless, here we are. So I guess the big news recently has been Connor Ben and his ongoing PED issue. I have a couple of thoughts on that. First off, let me first start by talking about Connor Ben and this and the reason why he got popped for PEDs. He said so. Apparently, he blamed it on eggs. It sounds very strange to me. The question is, can the ingestion of eggs make you piss hot for a PED? No. Just like Canelo with his beef and all of that, it has been shown that animals can be fed certain things, and that comes to in the meat and the animal byproduct. Do I believe it? No, not really. But I do find it odd that he would be caught with that drug, which is said to take 4 months to get out of your system, clomiphene. So he said he ate eggs or whatever. I don't know how much eggs do you need to eat if the eggs have in clomiphene for it to still be in your system. So that's why I say it sounds odd to me, and on the face of it, I don't really buy it. That's why I didn't buy Canelo and his beef excuse. But not because I don't buy the excuse doesn't mean it's not possible. That's one of the things I always try to do is think, is it possible? And even if it is possible, do I believe it? That's what happened to you? I probably don't. But my opinion doesn't really count on the matter. He was cleared by the WBC, both Conor and Canelo. Oscar Valdez said he drank tea. I didn't buy that either. If it's possible, I have no idea. So this would have to go down as another one of the strange excuses that people give for PEDs being in their system. Eggs. No, we've had eggs. Tea. Beef. Nasal spray. I remember some years back when James Toney had beat, what's that guy's name? John Ruiz. James Toney had beaten John Ruiz. And then James Toney pissed hot for PEDs. I think the excuse was because he pissed for nandrolone, which is an actual PED, nandrolone. He pissed out for nandrolone, and nandrolone is supposed to be a muscle builder and all of that. And the excuse that was given was that he was given some drugs in a hospital or something, and because of his training, the drug sort of broke down in his body and left a nandrolone trace in his body. And I thought back then that was a strange excuse. No, I didn't buy it at all, but that was the excuse. You have the man in my avatar here, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he also got caught for nandrolone. One second, please. Sorry about that. So I was saying about Tyson Fury, the man in my avatar. So he got caught with nandrolone. I think after the Christian Hammer fight and all this other stuff. And then he fought Vladimir Klitschko, which he shouldn't have been in that fight because he got caught with peds before. He won the fight and then ended up, well, quote unquote, but really Tyson Fury should have been just given a ped ban. They said he was given a backdated ban, which basically don't mean nothing. So he retired to avoid to so-called, because he wasn't in the mental state. And then he comes back, and I don't think till now he has a British boxing license. I don't think so. So his excuse was, if I remember, that he ate boar's penis or boar's testicles or whatever. And in boar's testicles, that's where the drug came from. So far, had eggs. We've had a drug breaking down from the hospital to turn into nandrolone. We've had a nasal spray from Billy Joe Saunders. And we've had boar's testicles from Tyson Fury. I think it's interesting that the English public is trying to turn Conor Benn into the face of drug use. And even some people over here in the West, where Conor Benn, the face of drug use in boxing, where we've had and have people who are at the heights of the sport, and these people are champions and they're big names in this sport, at the heights of the sport. Yet somehow these people get all the support in the world, but they're trying to use Conor Benn, a man who I've said before has really done nothing in this sport, not really important to this sport, but somehow Benn is the face of ped cheats worldwide. Not Tyson Fury, not Canelo Alvarez, not Billy Joe Saunders. Those three people I've listed have been, a former champion and two current champions. But Conor Benn, the guy who has accomplished nothing in this sport, is now the face of drug cheating in boxing. What's up, Madam King Boxing? I think that's curious. I started off by saying I don't excuse, but what I want to look at is the reaction to Conor Benn as opposed to anybody else. Valdez pissed hot. I didn't see anything like this, nothing like this in the media for Valdez, nothing like this. And Valdez is a champion. And I didn't see anything like this. Tyson Fury comes back and gets a backdated ban, which basically doesn't mean anything. Tyson Fury just decided, you know what? I'm going to go to America to continue my career. And the British people cheered Tyson Fury in America against Deontay Wilder. They didn't say he was the face of drug cheat. They had nothing like this for Tyson Fury. He goes to America, beats Deontay Wilder, and the man's a quote-unquote superstar. So how is Tyson Fury not the face of drug cheating? The current quote-unquote heavyweight king, but Conor Benn, a guy who hasn't even fought for an interim belt, never won a dome. What's the difference? The difference is who Conor Benn is saying to. Who Conor Benn is saying to. That's the issue. I just listed out to you the people who are current champions and former champions, but people, you didn't see any of this around these people. No media attention like this, no scrutiny like this, none of this stuff. You didn't see none of this, but you see it for Conor Benn. I find it interesting. I don't really understand what Conor Benn's path is in the sport, because he hasn't done any real domestic fights. I think they're trying to really just cash out on him early, because I don't think they believe in his ability. If so, Conor Benn would have gone to the usual English levels, where I think it's English champion, British, Commonwealth or something like that, and European. But none of that was done. But that's the thing, modern king boxing. Everybody should have strenuous testing. Everybody should have that. Why is it that Conor Benn is getting this extra scrutiny? I don't see anybody recommending Billy Joe Saunders get this strenuous testing. From what I understand, and it's weird because Conor Benn didn't fail any U, which is what the British Boxing Board of Control recognizing. When Billy Joe Saunders, this is when I knew that there was a difference. When Billy Joe Saunders failed the WADA test, the British Boxing Board of Control didn't even bother. They didn't even acknowledge the WADA test. Because as far as they're concerned, Billy Joe Saunders didn't fail any of their tests. Conor Benn fails a WADA test, not a UCAD test, and the British Boxing Board of Control is using the WADA test as their standard now. But when other people fail tests that was not UCAD tests, the British Boxing Board of Control did not recognize the drug tests of them other organizations like WADA or even VADA. Didn't recognize them. So what's the difference with Conor Benn to the British Boxing Board of Control than other people who have failed other tests that are not the British Boxing Board of Control standard? What's the difference? Hey, who that? 1-2 Kid? What's up, man? I just listed out to you probably one of my favorite boxers, James Toney, when he failed the nandrolone test back then. James, they said the reason why he failed the nandrolone test is because whatever drug he got from the hospital or something like that, the drug, because he was training so hard, the drug ended up breaking down in his system and leaving traces of nandrolone in his system. I was like, all right, man. And I remember people were like, nah, not James. And people were like, because they like James Toney. So people were trying to cop pleas for James Toney. I remember this. This was a long time ago. I don't remember what year it was. People should have cop pleas for James Toney. James Toney, a legend in the sport by that time. By that time, he was up at heavyweight trying to fight John Ruiz. Legend. But you didn't see this sort of uproar for James Toney. Conor Benn, a guy who hasn't done anything in this sport, is now the face of cheating in boxing. I really want to know how come. How did that happen? How is that other people who are much more accomplished, much more well-known pro boxers than Conor Benn, how come they didn't get this same treatment by the media and by all of this? How come? So Dillian White is another one. And he still fought Oscar Rivas because the British Boxing Board of Control, I guess, did not recognize, I think it was a VADA test he had failed or something. They didn't recognize that. That's not their testing. VADA is voluntary. They don't recognize that. Their thing is UCAD. If you pass their testing, as far as they're concerned, they license you. But no. Somehow it's different with Conor Benn. And I find it really strange. Again, if you didn't hear the show, if you didn't hear me start before, I don't buy the egg excuse. What I'm looking at is the difference in treatment for him than other people. Conor Benn hasn't fought anybody in the sport yet. But somehow his name is now being raised up as a flag for PEDs, against PEDs. His name, not Tyson Fury, not John Pascal, not Billy Joe Saunders, none of these people. How come? What's the difference between Conor Benn, who has under 15 pro fights, never fought for a real domestic, never fought for a world title, to Billy Joe Saunders, former 160 WBO champ, former 168 WBO champ, Tyson Fury, former unified champion, current WBC champion, Valdez with his T, I think former WBO, I think he still is, I don't know. What's the difference? How come this kid is being treated like this as compared to them other people? That's interesting to me. That's all. It's interesting to me. If anybody want to jump in with me, I think is interesting, right? It's just interesting. They're upset with the WBC for clearing Conor Benn, but they forget Tyson Fury got ranked in the top 5 of the WBC to fight Deontay Wilder when Tyson Fury hadn't fought nobody, coming off of a quote-unquote backdated ban. Tyson Fury told the British Boxing Board of Control, I don't need your license. He left and went to America. I don't even think you have a British boxing license still. He fights with another license now, but I don't even think he has one. And the British public cheer Tyson Fury. They cheer Tyson Fury, but they drag Conor Benn. I just find it interesting. Whatever I might feel about Conor Benn's ability in this sport and how far I think he would go is irrelevant. I just want to look at how I see other people get through and get by doing the same thing. But Conor Benn is being absolutely savaged in the British media. Absolutely savaged. They want him banned for life from boxing. Okay. That's cool. I think he should have solved some kind of ban. The problem is he didn't fail the UCAD test. Yo.
Mr. Kong, how's it going?
All good.
It's Tommy.
Hey, Thomas. Long time, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So what are you chopping up?
No, I'm just talking about Conor Benn and the response to him as opposed to other people who failed tests. But I didn't really see them get the same sort of savaging in the media. And no, I started off by saying early, I don't buy the egg excuse. Is it possible that chickens can be fed something and it comes through in the animal byproduct? Maybe. I probably don't buy the excuse. What I'm saying,
but he would have had to eat so many eggs that it would have been, it wouldn't have worked.
Right. I don't buy the egg excuse. So, because before I already told people, look, man, he need to get whatever little ban and move on, right? But he didn't fail any UCAD tests. So how come other people who didn't fail UCAD tests, they didn't savaging in the media? What's different over in England about Conor Benn as opposed to Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders, these I think Modern King Boxing just pointed out Dillian White, who got to fight Rivas, but they didn't get the staging like Conor Benn. How come?
Right. First of all, you got to look at the journey that Tyson took. And I'm not defending any of the fuckery that he's done. Sorry for the language, but he beat the man before popping dirty. Then he was stripped, dropped the belts, and then he made a massive comeback. Now, before he made a massive comeback and dropped all the weight, everybody was shitting on him. Everybody was saying he's only doing it for the money. He doesn't really want to box, blah, blah, blah. And this went on for the best part of 2 years. But that seems to get forgotten now that he's almost the golden boy now, so to speak. So if Conor can rebuild himself, get some really good wins, get a proper title, that would be a good start.
Sorry. You missed my bad. Hello?
Yo, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you. No, look, I agree. Yeah, he got shit on, but because I think I remember Tyson Fury failing a test when he fought Christian Hammer, before Vlad,
That's right. That is when he actually popped.
He popped before Vlad.
Yeah.
He fought Christian Hammer and he popped. And then he went into the Vlad fight, and that was and that became this whole issue. But he still fought.
Yeah, and that to me is a little bit suspect why that fight went ahead, considering that there was a question mark over his cleanness.
I just think it's interesting. But what about somebody like Billy Joe Saunders? He went to America. He got
nasal spray.
For the nasal spray. The British Boxing Board of Control didn't recognize the water findings because they said he didn't fail any UCAD tests. So as far as they're concerned, he could box over there. So he fails the test. Conor Benn fails the test for PED tests that have nothing to do with the British Boxing Board of Control. But Billy Joe Saunders didn't get the same public scrutiny. How come?
I think it came down to the BBOC and the other organization having different interpretation of what their interpretation of out of season means and how they apply it.
But he's still pissed hard. What I'm asking is, what's happening in England where this kid, Conor, who, in my opinion, hasn't done anything in this sport, anything important in this sport, I don't think so, where he's now the logo and the flag for PEDs. What's happened? I just find it interesting because we see bigger and more important people than Conor Benn piss hot, but how is he now being dragged through the media like this? What's happening?
But the thing is, what did he actually pop for? It sounds like he popped for a feminine product or. Well,
they say it could be used as a masking agent, but they didn't find anything. Well, that I know of that they've said, and
probably all washed out of his system by that point.
Whatever drug he was trying to mask. So they say clomiphene could be used as a masking agent. It's like a fertility drug, they say.
But why was he taking it anyway?
Well, that's the odd thing, right? That's the odd thing, right? Because from what they've said, clomiphene takes 4 months to get out your system. But I was like, why would somebody take something that takes 4 months to get out their system and they have a fight coming up? That's
to be honest, I think the story is actually worse than Wild Boar.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that story's good. No, I'm not saying at all. But I think Ben's story is worse than Tyson's story.
It doesn't matter to me which one. Because I think all of them are ridiculous.
They are, definitely.
I think all of them are ridiculous. So I'm not looking to place which ones was. I'm just saying. Because I don't want to be shocked. I want to know why. Conor Benn.
Well, the thing is, if Ben actually had got a strap and then popped dirty after getting the strap, I think he would get sort of half a pass.
Why? But that would be worse
Because
then
he's actually done something before getting on the juice. I know it sounds silly, but if you can do something on your own merits before you get, you look for another advantage, then more power to you. But I mean, I know there's the excuse that everybody's juiced in boxing, but we can't prove that. That's the thing.
No,
but
but
I'm sure most people are.
I'm not interested in saying, well, everybody's doing it, so what? No, I don't like that. No.
Okay.
No. When people say that they usually say that because somebody they like piss hot, and they're saying, well, everybody's doing it, so why can't he? It's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't like that sort of conversation. I just find it odd that this guy, who I've said on here before,
mm-hmm.
who again hasn't done anything, hasn't done the domestic fights, hasn't done anything really. I don't understand how his name is now. Why is his name bigger than Tyson Fury's name, bigger than Billy Joe Saunders' name? All these you got people in America now. I'm like, you got Lou DiBella, who promotes John Pascal, who is a multiple time ped cheat offender.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot the other day.
Again?
He had like what he had a test where he pissed out for like 3 different drugs or some crazy shit, like Jarrell Miller.
And he was the guy that went at Bernard Hopkins for saying, "Oh yeah, you're definitely
take the test. Take the test.
Yeah.
Take the test. Right? So you got Lou DiBella also jumping on like, oh, there's no standards in boxing. There's no, boxing.
There's no consistent. There's no worldwide standards. That is a problem.
I'm like, because even Lou, if they had standards, you wouldn't have a fight. So how are people I'm asking, how are people so comfortable jumping on this kid, but not these other people who have bigger names? John Pascal pissed harder, nobody cared. Nobody cared.
But who was he fighting before he popped?
I don't know who was he fighting, but John Pascal pissed hard for like 3 different drugs, and nobody cared. Conor Benn pisses hard for a masking agent, a fertility drug, and it's an international incident. How dare he piss hard for this?
The only thing I can think of was because he was inked to fight Eubank, and that's why it's got so much clout now. But I can't think of any other reason. It doesn't warrant any other reason.
I don't know, but this is I was hoping. I was kind of glad you came on because I wanted someone to tell me what's the difference. What's happening in England with Conor Benn? Like, it seemed curious to me because this dude ain't done nothing. He ain't done shit in boxing. He ain't important in boxing. I mean,
yeah, but the hype for the fight with Eubank was quite big. They were really ramping that fight up. So the British fans were hoping to see another juicy domestic clash, and I think it's probably the backlash of that fight getting cancelled.
Well,
people are sore.
Pascal, they said Pascal. This report from Pascal. So anyway, Pascal failed for just standalone metabolite, something called epitrenabolone, and EPO. So 4 things in his
EPO,
system.
that's for endurance.
So he failed for 4 things. He was like Jarrell Miller.
I don't think it was quite that bad. It was close.
Jarrell Miller had 4 things in his system.
Yeah, but the things that Jarrell Miller had in his system were literally killing him.
Yeah.
The DW, whatever it was.
He had to find that shit in like an old KGB building in Russia somewhere. You had to go look for that. Like,
it's not FDA approved anymore.
Yeah, you just get that. You gotta go through a back alley that leads you down into like a dark tunnel that leads you into some cave or something to get that. 1 second.
No props.
Jesus. Sorry, Tommy, go ahead.
That's all right. Yeah, even Miller before he popped, and we're talking, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. I mean, I was always saying at the time that guy is juiced. No man with that size should be able to have that output naturally.
But you see, even with Jarrell Miller, right? Jarrell Miller, he supposed to fight Anthony Joshua, and he got caught. It wouldn't have been this big.
Say again, it wouldn't have been
maybe
what?
You're right that when Conor Benn got caught, it's because he was going to fight a very high-profile fight. Because when Jarrell Miller pissed hot, he was about to fight Anthony Joshua, and it blew up. It completely
took everything under the sun for that fight,
right? And I just am interested to know and ask more UK people, how are y'all doing this to kind of have people over there of higher profile who said they won't come back to England, only back in England fighting because they can't go to America no more. Told the BBOC that he doesn't want their boxing license. He doesn't care to have it. Does Tyson Fury have a boxing license in England yet?
I don't believe he does. Not after the UCAD thing.
And people cheered him like, man, yeah, Tyson, you tell him, Tyson.
I don't actually think he can box in the UK again because of the ruling or something that was. I can't remember the details. Oh, has he?
He's boxed Chisora and who else? White in the UK. He didn't have no business license.
Well, he must have had some license.
Because
when David Hay got stripped of his license, he went to Luxembourg and got another license to fight Chisora.
Right. So Tyson has a license. It's just not a British Boxing Board of Control license. And no one cares. It's like everybody's like, yeah, who cares? So I'm with you. But I think Conor Benn needs to, as you say, Conor Benn just needs to go and fight. No one will care. I don't think he should fight Manny Pacquiao. I think that is a bad look to fight 5-year-old Manny Pacquiao, even though it'll pay him a lot of money. But if Conor Benn knocks out a 45-year-old Manny Pacquiao, Jesus, that's awful. And if he gets knocked out by a 45-year-old Manny Pacquiao, he has to retire.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there because, I mean, what was it, 2 years ago that Manny put down Thurman?
Yeah, man, but I don't know. Manny Pacquiao looks old. Have you seen Manny Pacquiao lately? He looks old.
Yeah. But he still got that power.
I guess, but he's still 45, man. Yeah, I mean, that ain't no good. He's still 45. What I'm saying is, I just want to know, is it that because he's signed with Eddie and people don't like Eddie, whereas Eddie is very high profile himself?
No, I honestly, I think what it is, that British fans are pissed off that they feel the fight was taken away from them, and they're obviously going to point the finger at Conor and say he's the reason why the fight's not happening. So I don't even think it's a question of morals. It's just a question of you taking away our entertainment that we were looking forward to.
Maybe. But I just find some of the hypocrisy to be too much. And I just want to ask questions because it's a foregone conclusion. Like I call Conor Benn ODB, Old Dirty Ben. That's my nickname for him because I don't believe no egg story. But I just realized like there's been a lot more furor over him than other people who it's like they've done the same thing. But this guy, ODB, he's the standard now. Like, see, don't be like Conor Benn.
Okay. I've got an idea. In the last, I don't know, say decade, all the British boxers that popped. What about looking at them and seeing how they were treated?
Well, you tell me. I don't. Listen.
I don't know. That's the thing. I just thought you might know a few names off the top of your head.
I'm pretty much new to British boxing history. I'm very new.
Right, I'm on the keyboard.
So, what I'm saying, like with Conor Benn, again, Modern King pointed it out. Dillian White pissed hot with Rivas, and the British Boxing Board of Control didn't stop that fight, and Dillian White didn't get the scrutiny. Yeah, people made little jokes about B sample, Dillian White, and all that, but I'm like, what the hell
Yeah, I
is going on?
remember.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm not seeing none of this shit. So I don't know. I just find out, the whole furor over Conor Benn a bit hypocritical from some of these fans who went to Wembley to watch Tyson Fury fight Derek Chisora.
Well, here's the other thing. I personally think that if that fight had gone ahead, that Conor would have had a very good chance of knocking Eubank out, because I don't think Eubank actually took that fight seriously at all.
No, it doesn't seem so. I don't think he actually even cared. He didn't look like he respected that fight at all. Like he was like, all right,
No.
whatever.
It's like he turned up to a party with the attitude, look at me.
It was a Eubank party, but that's just my opinion on Conor Benn. Like I just want people to watch and be like, yeah, we don't believe him, but why are you giving this guy who hasn't done nothing in the sport all this heat? But at the same time, you still support other people who 1-2 Kid, what's up?
What's up, Con?
What's
going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Yo, frankly, I'm happy with anybody who gets drugged through the dirt that's cheating. But Kong does have a point. It's dished out differently to each fighter. Like some taking more blows than others. That's a good point, But I just say, yeah, man, burn them all to the stake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They cheating, man. Just crispy them up. No point in we're gonna make a statue for this guy, and he's gonna fight for the WBC championship. And I think it's I think sometimes as boxing fans we lose sight of what's wrong, and sometimes we focus on the wrong things, like the fact that they put these guys on pedestals that are still on this juice and just, it's okay. Suleiman, we all flame that guy. But I'm just like, man, at what point, what I mean, do people just stop tolerating this shit? It's like, I just against cheating in all ways, man. Fuck them.
Well, that's the thing. The more things happen, the more they eventually become acceptable. And that's the problem with PEDs. That they've almost become acceptable.
Yeah. I just don't like that. Kong brought it up too, because it's like some people get a clear path and others just have this rocky ass path for doing the exact same shit, But I'm like, good.
Bro, I'm not here defending ODB. Y'all know me already, but
yeah,
I just, I'm just like, what? This dude ain't done shit in the sport. Who's he?
Right.
But all these other people get statues. These people get fireworks at their goddamn fights. This dude gets to sing American Pie in the ring in America. And I'm like, so I saw people saying, well, if Conor Benn fights outside of the UK after this, he's a disgrace. He should never get to come back to. I'm like, Tyson Fury said he's never coming back to the UK. He's only back in the UK because he's banned in America. And y'all went to watch this man do a sparring match with Derek Chisora. And that's okay.
Right.
How are y'all? What I'm saying is, it seems to be different. Conor Benn, if he fights outside the UK, is a disgrace. Tyson Fury did that, and y'all cheered. What?
Yeah.
What's happening?
And you know what else is crazy? Is like Eddie was sitting there flaming and just dogging people that was popping for anything. And then, of course, his breadwinner, he was like, oh, hold it, wait. Now let's make sure everything gets cleared. And I'm like, what the fuck? What happened to him? He's like, man, if he's cheating, man, nah, we can't have that shit. We can't have that shit here. We gotta clear that up. And he's just like,
that's why you should always keep your ass closed before, because you don't know when it's your turn.
Right? You don't know when your ad's gonna have to start talking again.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Just shut up. That's why you shut your mouth, because it's gonna be your time to try and be a meat shield for your guy. Shut up.
Yes.
Mind your business sometime. That's all.
Yeah. When it comes to the promoters, you see that. I think Bob's the master of that shit, though.
Oh,
He'll
Bob.
sit
Oh,
there.
man.
Oh yeah, he will
Oh, Bob don't care.
clown anybody
Mm,
if they're not under his if they're not under his banner, man. Oh my God, he tears into motherfuckers. I feel like he's good for that, man.
I
He's
mean,
good for that.
you
yeah, but do
had.
you not?
Go ahead, Tommy. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Tommy.
But do you guys not think that Bob scored an own goal by saying, "Oh, remember when Manny was supposed to be fighting Floyd the first time, and the whole thing about needles come up? Yeah, Manny's afraid of needles. What
What?
about the tattoos?
Right,
What about
that's
the
what I mean.
tattoos?"
That's what I mean. He's good for that, man. Like what he does, he's just. I mean, then when he's got a fighter, this guy is similar to Ali. He's the next Floyd, and when Floyd was there, he's Ali. He's better than this guy. And then when they get rid of him, he's boring.
He's a bomb.
Nobody likes him. Don't bring up Mikey Garcia around me.
The bomb.
Yeah, it's just it's funny. It's funny, and I think that's what clouds the fans that are new to the sport, their minds, because you can't disagree with him because he's been doing this for years. And it's like, exactly, I've been hearing this bullshit for years, so I
Hmm.
know that he's full of shit. So I mean, that's the thing, and they all seem to follow suit as promoters. Eventually, they find themselves on that road. Because I didn't think Oscar was that bad as a promoter when he first started. Now he's full of shit. Eddie. Now Eddie's pulling out the egg cartons and shit, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, damn, you just eventually just enjoy it while you got it, because it ain't gonna last long when they become promoters. They just turn into lawyers.
Yeah. Like I remember when
Mhm.
Conor Ben first pissed hot, you had Steven Espinoza come out and was like, "Oh, this is awful," and whatever. So Mike Carpenter comes on. And he says, "Hold on, but I don't remember the guy's name." He said, "But Steven, y'all had a guy who pissed hot, and y'all still let him fight in a Showtime card. Why are you jumping on Conor Ben? What's wrong with you?"
Mhm. Mhm.
And Espinoza was pissed because
Yeah,
people remember, like, bro, just be quiet because you have your own issues.
right.
Like 1, 2, 3. Like I just told Tommy about Lou DeBella jumping on this train, jumping on Conor Ben. But Lou, you have John Pascal who pissed hot for 4 different substances in his last test. You are
Take
promoting. What the fuck?
take the test. Take the test. That's the same dude. It was just like with Big Baby when he was like, "You are steroids."
Yeah.
And then the pop for that shit, yo, man, that dude, he pulled up Hopkins like, "Take the test."
But has anybody asked the question if Conor Ben actually managed to knock up his wife yet? Because if he
Yeah,
was taking
she has
that,
a boy. She has a boy.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they have a son.
Okay.
But no, this stream about Conor Ben is not for me to say Conor Ben's innocent, because y'all know I call this my ODB a long time ago.
Oh
That shit.
yeah. We know how you get down, Con.
I just want to know, why is this guy who hasn't done anything in his sport this treatment as opposed to other people who are much more important and influential in the sport? You don't see these people. I was like, what's happening? What's so different?
Yeah,
Well,
why not
one of
the
the
equal
things,
opportunity? Oh, go ahead.
one of the things is you look at the amount of muscle that Conor put on. Even before he popped, I said he was dirty. Did you see his quads? They were ridiculous.
That's a good
And
point.
if you're doing a lot of cardio, it's difficult to put on muscle quickly. Now, if you're a world class fighter, you're going to train like a world class fighter. You don't have a lot of energy left for anabolic, building muscle. It's a slower process.
Yeah, and your metabolism is like so sped up. It's difficult. You just basically just everything's going and coming, coming and going. Basically, it's very true. Yeah.
So far in boxing, I've heard. Let me see. I've now heard. Well, James Toney, one of my favorite boxers. I was
He
upset when
popped though, didn't he?
Yeah.
James Toney's excuse was that when he
Torn
fought,
bicep, right?
No, he got a drug from the hospital, and because he was training so much, the drug broke down in his system and left nandrolone in his system.
Really?
Yeah, that was the excuse. I
thought he had a torn bicep or something.
Yeah, but he got a drug for the bicep at the hospital. Something
was
like
that to accelerate his healing?
Right, but then the drug breaks when the drug breaks down because of you get dehydrated or whatever. The drug leaves behind nandrolone. I actually tried to idea. People were like, "Bro, shut up." I was like, "Oh,
the drug shit's nandrolone."
Why not just take the nandrolone?
I like James Toney, so I remember back then I was trying to like people. I was trying to defend James Toney. People were like, "Man, shut up." Yeah, what the fuck? You don't know.
But Roy Jones has popped as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course. All these dudes been popped for some kind of
Holyfield.
Oh man, Holyfield, that's my guy. All these people have like tested for some kind of pet or something. I'm just wondering why Conor Benn is the British bar for non-ped use, and if dares fight out of the UK, not under the BBOC, he's a disgrace to the sport. But Tyson Fury doesn't fight under the BBOC. He
was when he popped.
Yeah, but now he's not. He hasn't been licensed by the BBOC for a while. He let his license expire and didn't renew it.
So who's he licensed with?
So I'm like, well, hold on now. This kid, who y'all said was a duck anyway, because he didn't fight Avanesian, he's a duck. He's nobody. But you see, when he came, he's like Campbell Hatton. You have a famous last name, and you signed with a high-powered promoter. You can't have it both ways. You can't want anonymity, but you are profiting off your father's last name, whether you want to or not. You are profiting off your last name because you've been given opportunities that no one else is going to get because of your last name. So when these things happen, you're going to get more scrutiny. Is that am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're definitely right.
Hey, didn't Shane Mosley pop as well?
Yep, against Oscar.
No, his son.
Junior?
Oh no, I'm sure Senior popped against Oscar in one of the fights. I'm sure he did.
I thought I heard about his son popping for something.
Wow. For what though? I mean, that's a waste of
you gotta watch these juniors out here, man.
Nothing like the seniors.
I mean, don't quote me, but I was always positive. I seen something on there.
But
hey, I'll look it up. But
anything else on y'all in the Conor Benn situation? I want to move to Andy Ruiz.
I'll tell you one thing, Kong. See, the next time a British boxer pops, you can contrast their story against the Conor Benn story.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming, but it's just odd to me. That's all. It's just odd to me. So Andy Ruiz has apparently left PBC. He's he's no longer contractually obligated to PBC. It was surprising to me because I know they were trying to make the Wilder fight, but then that fight wasn't going nowhere. Eddie Hearn starts talking about that, he would like to at least get the fight if they're not in, and if it's possible, because Wilder's saying he's a free agent, which he said multiple times before. Ruiz hasn't said shit. He's just been doing what he's doing. No, he's not contractually obligated to the PBC no more. What is y'all opinion on that? Because we've seen a lot of weird stuff happening around the sort of PBC sphere of influence. What is y'all opinion on Ruiz leaving, and what does that do to like the PBC stables and whatnot?
I think the PBC. I think everybody just getting hip to the bullshit. These guys ain't getting paid. You know. I mean, we seen it with Charlo. We seen it with AB. We even hear it with Wilder hinting towards it. I feel like their loyalties to the PBC are running thin now because they got bills to pay and they ain't been getting paid. And I just feel like if they're not paying them, then they get what they deserve. I mean, I'm not mad at what's happening to them if that's what what I mean. If they weren't paying these guys up their money, like they weren't tending to them as is, for getting in there and performing and just giving them per diem. Like, what the fuck is that? So I don't care what happens. Give me some fights. Give me some fights and pay the fighters, man. I mean, shit, that's why everybody's watching it and paying for the shit for the fighters. They're not paying to see PBC, Top Rank, Golden Boy, or the Zone. They're paying for the fighters. So come out and pay them up front. I think Mike just talked about that. Mike Tyson. He was like, how are the fighters not getting paid, but the promoters and everybody else is getting paid, the sanctioning bodies, but the fighters don't get paid? Like,
Who's Mike? Who's Mike?
Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, he said something during the Jake Paul Fury fight, whatever. The only reason I clicked on it because it said Mike Tyson, and he just happened to be there talking about it, like people should be getting paid, which I agree with. Absolutely, man. That, like, if they're getting in there and they're risking it, and they're paying these trainers and they're paying these people to keep their health right, you know what I mean, for their chefs and everything, and then get in there and get punched in the face, man. They should be first in line, you know, to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember Cotto towards the end of his career? He ended up as a free agent and he made a ton of money that way. And I think
Yes.
that's kind of the model that most people, if they're big enough towards the tail end of their career, they kind of chase that avenue because they're maximizing their revenue potential.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea as to not signing with a certain, because it seemed to go well for everybody who kind of made a name, and then when they left, they all seemed to benefit. Just about everybody who left the promoter seemed to benefit. Mikey Garcia got his biggest paydays. We just seen it with Crawford. Uh, you know, um, uh, even even Andre Ward. But the problem with Mikey Garcia and Andre Ward is they got put on the shelf for 2 years for going against the grain. You know what I mean? But they that's why I respect both of them, because they gave everybody a blueprint on how to watch their money and make sure their shit's right, and they took the big hit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I respect both of those guys for going their own way.
But a question I've got is, are they still with the PBC on a fight by fight basis, or are they promoting themselves?
I don't know. I just feel like they even if they're with them, they know to keep it a short contract. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
with a lot of these fighters, even when they get together and they're just doing something and they're mixing promotions, they know to make it a short-lived thing. The problem is at the bargaining table, they want these 3-fight deals to sign you in. They want to lock you in, and
But the
so
thing
you
is,
just
1-2 kid, a 3-fight deal wouldn't be bad if the promotion actually gave you 3 fights in like a good clip. Like, you're gonna fight this time,
Yep.
and that time.
Right.
These dudes get a 3-fight deal, and it's like 6 years they're on their contract,
Yeah.
and they only got 2 fights.
Yeah. And then they're getting paid in increments.
Oh my god.
Yeah, could you imagine? You know what I
That
mean?
sounds like AB.
Yeah. He said sounds like Wilder too. He said he
Bro,
said
that's
he
crazy.
wasn't getting paid, man.
Like Richardson Hitchens said his fight with Matchroom was a 3-fight deal. He's already had 2. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's on his last fight or some shit.
Right. And it's best to get them done quickly, You know what I mean? It's best to get them done quickly because what if you bought a lemon? You want them in and out. You don't want them sticking around.
Exactly. So it's cool you signed 3 fights, but it's like, when are you gonna give me these 3 fights? Like, I mean, like I saw Benavidez re-sign for this, I think like 3 or 4 fights. I'm like, why? You don't see how inactive you are?
Yeah. Gary Russell.
Come on, man.
I would have been out front of there with a bat, man. If I was Gary Russell. I'm like, I'm fighting someone. It's gonna be your ass. You come out the office.
Come on, man.
For real, man.
I'm just when Andrew, because Andrew Ruiz, they pulled out of the Hrgovic purse bids, which I expected because I expected the Wilder fight to happen. See, Andrew Ruiz has 2 avenues to a mandatory. Hrgovic, I figured he would choose Wilder because they're both under the PBC, and it's a more high profile and should be more lucrative fight than Hrgovic. He pulls out of the Hrgovic fight and now cuts ties with PBC, and no one knows what's happening with the Wilder fight. No one knows. So my thing is, well, okay, is Andrew Ruiz going to someplace else? He's going to remain a free agent? I just don't really get it. Like, Ruiz was never exactly a quote unquote PBC guy. Like, he wasn't like one of their guys who they kind of protected.
So what are you questioning? Whether it's going to jeopardize the matchup with Wilder?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, Eddie Hearn said he would like to get the fight. If both are free agents, he would like to get the fight, right? But he's left PBC. Wilder is still apparently around them, and I want to see that fight. You know what I mean?
What about the fight that no one is talking about, but maybe it should be on someone's radar at some point, and that is a 3rd fight with AJ, a decider.
But that's a while down the line because they're gonna fight Franklin, and more than likely they're gonna try to line up a Joshua versus Dillian White fight. You know what I'm saying? For like the summer or some shit. And then in December, because now Ruiz has to get fights because he hasn't fought since Luis Ortiz. He hasn't fought. The Wilder fight was supposed to be the fight. So, and they couldn't even get that made. Ruiz is not gonna fight Hrgovic. So what now? And I don't think they're gonna put Ruiz and AJ to fight if it's for nothing. Like, that's if it's for no.
I mean, ideally it should be for a belt, but if they can't make, if neither of them has a belt, and it's the best fight to make, they'll probably still make the fight.
Probably, but more than likely, if there's an option, AJ will fight Hrgovic for the IBF mandatory to get him back in position for a championship belt.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's an easy fight to make. Both of them have something to do with Matchroom. And Hrgovic would make more money fighting Anthony Joshua than anybody else. Now, Hrgovic is back in the same position he was years ago when people just kept saying no. And Zhang had to fight him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's I just find the Andrew Ruiz situation strange, really strange. And well, I know people saying like the vultures or the buzzards are circling PBC, but I just I find it odd, man.
I don't think he's going to go as a free agent. I don't think he's big enough for that. So I think he's probably going to jump ship to someone, another promotional company.
Well, he was with top. 1-2K just said when you're with Bob, you're the best. When you're not with Bob, you're awful. When Andrew Ruiz beat Bob Arum, and Andrew Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, Bob Arum said, and look at who AJ lost to. Andrew Ruiz has never been a top heavyweight, lazy and out of shape. I was like, wow, when he was with you, he was top shit. Now,
yeah.
Nope.
But hold on, he had a split decision loss to Parker, didn't he?
Yeah.
And some people thought he actually nicked it.
I thought he won the fight.
I mean, Parker got a lot of shit for his fight with with the Juggernaut, and I'm like, damn, that was one of his best performances. Unfortunately, he lost, but that shit was an exciting fight.
Problem is he couldn't knock Joe because he was catching Joe with some heavy shots.
He couldn't hurt him.
Just couldn't hurt him. But I'm a side note.
Joe was moving.
Let me just say about Joe Joyce. Side note. I know people are in love with Joe Joyce's chin. Bruh, let me tell you something. That chin goes fast when you just stand there and take them punches, okay? It'll go. And when it goes, you're in trouble because you don't move very fast. You move your head at all. You just take punches. I'm just saying to whoever trains Joe Joyce, tell him to move his head.
A little bit.
Please.
Duck here and there.
He's how old is he now? 38?
Some shit like that.
Yeah,
good luck. Good luck trying to incorporate that into his.
Yeah, but I mean, if he can do a backflip, why can't he slip a punch?
No, it's just weird. I'm like, people are like, man, you see that you see that granite chin? I'm like, that's not a good thing. When you're saying great chin, I'll just take your punches. That's not a good thing.
Nah, it's not. Punishment is never a good thing.
That's not a good thing, bro. Right?
It didn't look like he was even in a fight, too. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's
Parker looked messed up.
Yeah, Joe never looks busted up. Never looks like, but that's my Andrew Ruiz take. That's all.
But your speech may take damage.
That's true.
You might look good, but you be like, like, oh man, wow. Don't want to do that. You don't want to be zuzzing.
You don't want to be with it. You don't want to be.
You don't want to do that, man.
Nah, but that's just my Ruiz take. My last topic is Mr. Joshua Buatsi, who seemingly will turn down the Dimitri Bivol fight again. Eddie Hearn came out in an interview when somebody asked him if it's true Buatsi has turned down the fight. And he said he didn't turn down this one, he turned down the one before. He turned down the opportunity for the one before. And Virgil Hunter was on the Boxing Voice saying Joshua Buatsi is 2 fights away from fighting Dimitri Bivol. When Joshua Buatsi beat Craig Richards, and Eddie Hearn was saying, like, he doesn't see why Joshua should wait anymore for a title shot. He has a title shot in front of him. He should fight. Virgil Hunter said Joshua Buatsi is 1 fight away. On the last interview, he's 2 fights away now.
So it's all over the place. I don't know.
Let me pull up Joshua Buatsi.
I'd like to see Buatsi fight Zerto.
That's the thing, right? Tommy, mute him. Mute him, Tommy. What is going on? Who's is Tommy fighting? Tommy, mute for me, please. Tommy.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was on.
All right, so that's the thing, right? Because I'm saying people were saying like he needs like 2 more. Okay, well, who are the 2 fights? Because he was supposed to fight Pascal, they pulled him out that fight. Supposed to fight Vlasov, they pulled him out that fight. Well, who the hell are these other 2 fights?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, he's not going to fight Yad because Frank Warren is not going to send Yad on a DAZN show. It's not going to happen. Even though Anthony Yad has 3 losses on his record. And Anthony Yad really and truly he's not going to beat any of the champions. Neither will Buatsi, by the way.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, 1-2 kid, when you're that age, let me pull up his box rec. When you're that age and you have an opportunity, take your opportunity. Whether you win or lose, take your opportunity.
Yeah. I think he's a decent fighter too. I think he just fights in spurts.
Let's see. So Joshua Buatsi turned pro in 2017. Three fights 2017, three fights 2018. No, sorry. One, two, three, four, five, six fights
Damn.
2018. Three fights 2019. One fight 2020. Two fights 2021. One fight in 2022. And this
Wasn't
was
it tough?
Sounds like progression.
no, he's had how much fights? 16 fights, and Joshua Buatsi is 29 going on 30. Tommy Temper is Joshua Buatsi. Should Joshua Buatsi take the opportunity to have at least a title fight, roll the dice and see what happens?
What level? What level was his last fight at?
He fought Craig Richards
And won.
and won. Craig Richards, gave Bivol a much better fight than even Zerdo.
12 rounder. Maybe
And,
one more fight.
but who's the one fight? Who would you put him in there to fight to prepare him for Dimitri Bivol? Who's the one fight? Give me the one fight.
At light heavy.
Because they pulled him out of the Cal fight, they pulled him out of the Vlasov fight. Those are two aging light heavies, good fighters but aging. So he didn't fight them two fights, and he hasn't done nothing since he fought Craig Ridge. He's just been sitting down. Now what? It's 2023. Now what?
I don't know. I'd like to see him fight Zerto, but if I was training him, I'd put him in with like a guy that could take a good punch and got good feet and kind of stays away from him and makes a boring fight all night to prepare him
Who?
for Bivol.
Well, who's that?
I don't know. I'd have to start. I'd have to look for that motherfucker because I mean that's what they should be doing. If they want to prepare him for the Bivol fight,
But
but
here's the
isn't Bivol and Beterbiev in talks now again?
so they say. I mean, Eddie wants to pay for the fight in Saudi, but Bob, Bob has never been high on that fight. All of a sudden, Bob wants to fight now because Bob doesn't want Callum Smith to get his title shot.
Well, I say if I was Bob Otter, I'd jump on that shit quick. I mean, Beterbiev only getting older. Then you got an undisputed. I mean, if he pulls it off, you got an undisputed champion on your hands, and even with like 2 fights off, at least you making big money with him. Doesn't make sense not to make the fight.
I mean, that was my thought years ago, but Bob is somebody who Bob did a favor for Frank to give Anthony Yard the shot against Beterbiev as a mandatory for WBO. Callum Smith is a WBC mandatory, and Bob doesn't know. Bobby said, no, the fight to make is Beterbiev versus Bivol.
I know. It's fucking, how funny they change sides, how quick they change sides when the shit don't go their way. Yeah, it's true, man. But I mean, that's the fight to make at light heavy, and it's still probably not gonna go his way. I think Bivol gonna get him,
Of course.
but I mean, but why not chance it? I mean, yeah, throw Beterbiev in there with him. Like, and when it comes to Buatsi, man, I think he just needs to fight a guy like like a Zerto. I think that would be a very interesting fight. That'd be an exciting fight because when Buatsi's on fire for the 30 seconds of each round that he is, man, he looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Then you got Zerto turning it up. He got a good chin. He sticks around. He's game. You know what I mean? Let's see how he deals with that type of pressure. So I mean, so that'll make it very entertaining fight. I would think. Guy with a decent chin and a guy who's offensive minded. And I mean, yeah. And then he's gonna have to go all 12. They both gonna have to go all 12. So I'm curious how that fight would turn out. You know, might be in like another Hart and Zerto fight. Who knows?
people used to pick Joshua Buatsi automatically over Anthony Yarde. And I used to tell people why, well, I used to ask people why y'all so confident that Buatsi is that much better than Anthony Yarde, because I haven't
That's a
seen
good fight too, though.
I haven't seen
Thanks for
Buatsi do
bringing
nothing.
that up.
I haven't seen Buatsi do nothing special. Why is he automatically the favorite? Is it because he has a matchroom promotion behind him? What?
And he ain't been in there with anyone but Riches.
But
Oh
Richard,
shit, there's another one.
right? So Buatsi ain't no, he ain't done nothing special. He's 29. You know what I'm saying? And his activity level since 2018 has fallen off. He didn't fight again after Craig Richards, and that was in May of 2022. He didn't fight again. So once again, he's on the back burner, waiting for what?
I think he was complaining about it though.
About what?
About not getting more fights.
Yeah,
I seen that too.
yeah, but you could get the Bivol fight. Why he turned it down once, you turn it down again? To fight who? Callum Smith.
But maybe he feels he's not ready for the challenge yet.
Okay, so then he needs to tell Eddie, put me in the reserve then. Because let me be clear, there's no easy fight around no more. Like, you can't put him to fight no domestic people. Like, no. Callum Smith has said he's not interested in no Buatsi fight. He wants his title shot. Right? He's already said he's not interested in that fight. Buatsi is going to turn down a title shot. Anthony Yarde had two. And Anthony Yarde doesn't have any Olympic other amateur experience. He took his shots when he had his shots. So why is Buatsi wanting to be like how much more, bro? Let me tell you something. I think in my opinion, Joshua Buatsi is an underachiever in a way. In a way, you have a clear opportunity to do something, try something, and you have kept yourself out of the ring. Well, why didn't he ask Eddie? Because Zerdo has said he wants to fight Buatsi. Why don't Buatsi say I want? There ain't no more fights for him. They pulled him out of the John Pascal fight. They pulled him out of the Maxime Vlasov fight. So what are the other fights? Those two are the fights that are in the middle. Those are the two fights. And they didn't put him in those fights. And the money that he might be commanding, are you going to pay Buatsi big money to fight a nothing fight?
I think they keep it. I think Eddie, isn't he under Eddie?
Yeah, but he has like one fight left, right?
Yeah.
It's like, even if you leave Eddie, you go to boxer. The only fight that's out there in England that is sensible is Anthony Yarde. So I'm guessing he would have to go to Queensberry to fight Anthony Yarde. But after that, then what?
There's no easy way out. He got
Yeah, but isn't Yarde coming off a loss?
Yeah, but it's still a big fight in a way. It's still a big fight. But if he fights Yarde, Tommy, he beats Yarde. Okay, you beat a guy with 3 losses. Oh, whoop-de-doo. If you lose against Yarde, you was always overhyped. Right? If you fight Bivol and you win, you beat the best light heavyweight in the world. If you lose and you give a good account of yourself, your stock doesn't drop. Anthony Yarde's stock went up after the Better BF fight because he put on a hell of a
Yeah, you're right about that. If he puts on a good performance against Bivol,
he came razor close to stopping him though.
Yes. So there's something to be said about rolling the dice. Buatsi doesn't seem prepared to do that. 29 title shots staring you in the face, and your trainer doesn't believe in you. I personally have never found Virgil Hunter to be a especially great trainer because the only fighter I know he's done great with is Andre Ward, and that's it. No one else. I'm not a boxing historian, so y'all might have to fill me in on who these other fighters are that Virgil Hunter made great.
Nah, you hit that on the head. That's a good point.
So when he picked Virgil Hunter, I was like, why would you pick Virgil? Dude ain't no great trainer to me. He's old. Like, he can't hold no mitts for you. So, in my opinion, Joshua Buatsi is an underachiever. Somebody needs to tell me what's so special about this kid. He looked good against Craig Richards as 1-2 kicks up for like 30 seconds out of the 3 minutes of each round. And then he has to recharge. You know? But that's just me. And that's all I got for today with Joshua Buatsi, Connor Benn, and Andrew Ruiz leaving PBC. Anything from y'all?
No. Thanks for having me on, though, Cole.
Hey, man. How come I don't get no streams from you these days? What's happening, man?
Oh, man, I relocated, man. I ain't really been into it. And with the bullshit that been popping,
Yeah.
I'm just not, it's not in my thing at the moment. I'm not into it. I'm not feeling it like I was.
Yeah. I understand. Boxing does that to you. Boxing
just took a break.
Boxing sometimes takes more than it gives. Tommy, I see that they're releasing the Undisputed game, so I know you're a video boxing guy. What do you think about that game?
It looks fantastic, but I've got the game. I've got it on PC. I can't stream it because I need another PC. It's a long story. But I don't like the mechanics in the game. One of the things I don't like is that they don't have catch and shoot. And that's one of the mechanics I rely on my boxing game of choice. So it's completely different to what I'm used to. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it's more of an art game than a simulation. The stamina that you have, the way that you can throw maximum power punches 5 times in a row and your boxer doesn't slow down, that's not a simulation. That's an arcade game. But that's me personally. I might change my mind in a few weeks when I do get into it. But let's put it this way: I'm struggling to get the controls. So watch this space. Maybe it'll change.
Yeah, that sounds like you need to start feeding your character clomiphene.
Yeah. I guess it's not a finished product yet, though. That's why it's not on the consoles.
Well, the thing is any game a finished product once it's released, because there's always updates. There's always tweaks. If anything, I mean, you take Call of Duty, for example. If a gun's too overpowered, they will release a patch to make it not so overpowered, and it's the same in any other game. They'll release patches or updates or whatever it is.
Yeah, they nerf them.
Yeah,
they
that's
nerf
true.
the guns. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, yo, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I'm gonna get off this thing now. Easy, man. Thank you, Tommy, and thank you, my guy 1-2 Kid. Long time no see the two of you, man. I hope y'all are safe. Be easy. Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for coming on. And to the British boxing public, y'all are hypocrites. Leave Conor Benn alone.
Free Big Baby.
Peace, guys. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, free Big Baby. Big Baby about to fight over in Tanzania. We back. We almost back to the top of the game. Eddie Hearn, you try to get my guy out the game. Big Baby only had a tainted supplement, and I stand by that. Like Big Baby, and I'm not gonna allow y'all to destroy his career. Y'all be easy, man. Peace.